Prepare for the 2023 economic outlook. Trick the market, or the market tricks you. When will we be able to return to 2019? When will we once again have office workers fully back in offices, affordable cars, houses, and other luxuries that we once took for granted? Never. The easy money era is over, and the global economy in the post-pandemic era is fundamentally different. The era of cheap labor, goods, and energy seems to be over as well, and there will be a change soon. Gone are the days when we could buy whatever we wanted and desired for a low price. This is because it has been harmed by the Federal Reserve's persistent interest rate hikes. The cheap labor we enjoyed has also been ruined by China's economic collapse. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has harmed our access to cheap energy, and we are put in a position where we can no longer afford the majority of the costs. According to a comprehensive new World Bank study, the world may be on the verge of a global recession in 2023, as well as a series of financial crises in emerging markets and developing economies that would permanently harm them. Before we go further, it is safe to note that nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice, as they are all for informative and educational purposes. That being said, let's ride on. In response to inflation, central banks around the world are raising interest rates at the same time. This year, central banks have raised interest rates with a degree of coherence not seen in the previous 50 years. This trend is expected to continue well into next year. However, the current trajectory of interest rate rises and other policy interventions may not be sufficient to return global inflation to pre-pandemic levels. Investors anticipate that central banks will raise global interest rates by more than 2% from their 2021 average to around 4% by 2023. According to the analysis, if supply disruptions and labor market pressures continue, those interest rate hikes could leave global core inflation, excluding energy, at around 5% in 2023, nearly twice the 5-year average prior to the pandemic. According to the report's model, central banks may need to raise interest rates by an additional 2 percentage points in order to reduce global inflation at a rate consistent with their goals. If financial market stress occurs, global GDP will fall to 0.5% in 2023. A 0.4% decline per capita that would technically qualify as a global recession. A recession is simply the process of retreating or withdrawing, but from an economic standpoint, the definition is slightly different. A recession is defined by economists as a period of negative real GDP, rising prices, and higher unemployment that typically lasts for many months. There have been 50 recessions recorded in history, ranging from the copper panic of 1785 to the Great Recession of 2008. The COVID-19 pandemic triggered the United States' 51st recession in 2020. As a result of the Great Recession, GDP fell by 4.3% between 2007 and 2009, while the unemployment rate increased by 9.5%. Also, due to the catastrophic collapse in American property values that year, the entire world experienced a financial crisis. You might be thinking right now, the 2020 recession wasn't as bad because it only lasted 2 months. While that may be true, it is unquestionably incorrect. In 2023, we might be unlucky. A week of rising unemployment and consumer prices would encourage all sorts of vices. Despite this, there are opportunities to seize because these are special times. For the time being, there is indeed enough time to prepare for the upcoming challenges, if they occur. And here are several ways to get ready for the long journey we are about to embark on. If you want to take advantage of the market in 2023, you should begin increasing your reserve or emergency funds now. The goal of this emergency fund is to prepare for any unforeseen or uncertain future events. It is made up of a specific amount of money, an asset, or an account. According to a YouGov study conducted for Forbes, More than 40% of respondents who had emergency savings prior to March 2020 used them during the pandemic. 73.3% of people who used their emergency savings spent 50% or more of it. In reality, increasing your savings is necessary if you want to survive a recession. During a recession, you will only be able to rely on previously saved treasure because there will be few or no opportunities to save for an emergency. Even if you do not expect your fate to follow that path, you are certain that it will. It is unknown when our next recession will occur. The situation may worsen later this year or early next year, or it may not. However, a slump is almost certainly unavoidable because that is how the economy frequently cycles. So, whatever it means for you, it's a good idea to have enough money saved up. Despite the desire to sell, which is especially strong in down markets, you must continue to invest. Don't worry, just keep investing. The adage, "difficult times don't last, only tough people do," is well known. The bear season may not last as long as expected. It could be a brief period followed by a green bull market. Who knows? In any case, keeping an investment portfolio is another great way to prepare for a recession. Looking for businesses with acceptable and explicit financial statements that support a strong balance sheet and a compelling concept is an excellent way to encourage investment. If you have no knowledge of how investing works, it is your responsibility to hire professionals. Investment bankers will provide you with a wealth of information as well as recommendations on the best investments to make. There is no hard rule stating that a recession cannot progress to a depression. It can last for a month or two. If the rescue operation is carried out, your funding may be critical. Reduce your investment risk. Even during a recession, not every industry or firm is affected in the same way, and some industries will not see drastic changes in demand. Market volatility is to be expected during a recession. However, you can protect yourself by investing in companies that are prepared for a downturn. Healthcare will remain necessary because we cannot ignore the reality of illnesses and must constantly care for ourselves and our loved ones. Even during a recession, you will visit the doctor and purchase necessary medications. Healthcare encompasses everything from medical services to over-the-counter medications available at your local pharmacy. A recession-proof industry, such as healthcare, would reduce investment risk during a global recession. The consumer goods industry has been determined to be yet another recession-resistant industry. Several items have relatively inelastic demand due to their survival requirements. Basic consumer goods will always be required because our needs will not disappear during a recession. For example, no matter what happens in the economy, you'll still need to shave and practice basic personal hygiene. During a recession, consumer purchasing patterns will simply shift. You have less money to spend on eating out, but you will continue to eat. Families may find themselves cooking at home more frequently or shopping for bargains at the grocery store instead of going out to eat. Pay off your debts. Debts are liabilities that you must have accumulated over time, anticipating the unforeseeable threat of a recession. Interest rates may skyrocket during a recession, and debt settlement may become impossible to maintain. This is because system maintenance will be more important than system expansion. When a recession is looming, it is prudent to pay off as much debt as possible. Debt repayment during a recession is not only miserable, but also suicidal. A recession can cause you to lose your job, cut off your regular source of income, and put you in a bad situation. Pay off all debts as soon as possible, before the dangers of a recession comes looming. Furthermore, updating your resume and refreshing your skills are as important as your existence in order to prepare for the coming year. One of the most significant consequences of a recession is the persistence of the unemployment rate. According to a World Economic Forum report published in 2020, 85 million jobs will be lost globally by 2025 as a result of pandemic-related economic issues and growing artificial intelligence, while 97 million new jobs will be created. 40% of supposedly essential skills for people who want to keep their jobs until 2025 will change, and 50% of all employees will need to update their skill sets. Because of their high purchasing power, businesses will downsize their workforces while looking for other ways to increase profits. As a result, survival of the fittest will occur in the workforce. Only workers who have created the framework to adjust to changing circumstances, according to Charles Darwin's theory, will be able to withstand the storm. One method for having such a structure and weathering the storm, known as the recession, is to update one's ability to meet the desired job, and also improve one's resume by attending courses or having higher degrees before the recession begins. Much of what is going on is frightening, illuminating, and not at all unusual. It happened after World War II. At the time, the whole world was transitioning from an agricultural to an industrial economy. Then, our economy shifted from an industrial to a service-based one. We are now transitioning from a service-based to a digital economy. The rate of change is different this time, and Americans were at least aware that the economy would shift after World War II. However, everything has changed. Russia and China have not only harmed the economy, but the digital age has arrived. All we have to do now is grab a bottle of soda and enjoy the ride. A global recession could start any time. We can only hope that it will be brief and cause minimal economic damage. However, at the end of the day, we could all be mistaken. As is customary, this video is strictly for educational purposes and is not intended to provide financial advice. Invest in stocks and other commodities with caution and in accordance with your risk tolerance. What are your thoughts on the 2023 economic outlook? Let us know in the comment section below. While you do so, do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more educational and informative videos like this. Turn on your notification settings to receive an alert when we upload the next video. Until next time, do take care.